Welcome to my channel, Elemental Origins. My name is Starr. I'm going to enter into the space today with a sage smudge. This is a very impromptu reading. I feel like there's going to be more of those moving forward. I've been guided to enter into the space with some sound as well, so just be careful those that might be wearing headphones. That's that reminder from the last message, Sagittarius new moon, that it's not just through sage that you can cleanse one's home. I don't know what's going to come through today. I've just been guided to grab some decks and to create a reading, to create messages, to create a space of understanding for some of the collective out there. And I had some incredible downloads when I was setting up and cleansing all my cards and shuffling them, and this understanding that I started reading Oracle before I read Tarot, and I wasn't sure why I did that. And it was only recently that I got told to bring tarot into my spaces. And I'm hearing that tarot is actually a confirmation for those that have read tarot in previous lives, or those that are reading tarot now. The messages that I bring forward aren't the only messages that you get. You get messages from the cards that I put down too. And these are cryptid messages so that you understand some things that are secret to you. And I found this to be incredibly interesting for one, and incredibly profound. And you know, I think sometimes we forget just how magical this space is. We get used to reading tarot, we get used to pulling cards, and we forget how incredible this whole divinationary practice is. Like, it's absolutely wild that we pull some cards and, you know, we hear messages, we see messages, we are guided to the understandings of what's on that card that might not be the specific intention of the people that even created the cards. Like, how incredible is that? How magical is that? And yeah, I think Teams of Light are just wanting me to remind you all that this is a magical realm that you are stepping into. And for those that might be teetering on the edge of, I don't know whether this is insanity or, you know, the most amount of clarity I've ever had, jump in, you know, jump in and say yes to this, because you're here for a reason. And I brought some crystals into space today, my Lemurian quartz, which I absolutely love, and I was told to mention the inclusions in here, and each of these markings are essentially timelines and understandings from this stone. And you know, crystals hold a lot of information, so for those that might not have been utilizing their crystals yet, please do so now. Now's the time to be unlocking more information for yourselves. And I brought in rhodonite as well, and this is a stone that I use when I'm really heavily trying to do some heart healing, some higher heart healing especially, and healing old wounds. So for those that might be looking to deepen their practice of their heart chakra, rhodonite is amazing for that. And I brought in this gorgeous sodalite shell that I was gifted by a gorgeous friend of mine, so thank you if you are watching. And this is a nod again to Lemuria and to the ways of the water. And I brought in the Water Oracle deck, which I'm going to use first. And this idea that water is going to be the main element moving forward within the next few years. Water is going to be leading this space, everyone. That is what I've been told behind the scenes. But I'm going to pull 3 cards, and I was reminded of a cheeky 3-card pull, which I haven't done in a real long time. And yeah, I was really grateful to have that understanding brought to my attention, and I thought, yeah, okay, it's time to bring it back into the space. So I'm going to do a reading of past, present, and future. And then we're going to pull cards from those spaces. So this is going to represent the past energy. The waterfall. Inner power, unbridled confidence, claiming your place. So that's a past energy. Interesting. It's going to be present energy. Let it go. Having trouble focusing. Let it go. The past, forgive, soften, move forward. And this is the future energy that we're bringing forward. Wow. Beneath the surface, What's really driving you, true motives, and breaking free. Okay. This is an ego death that is happening, that has happened. And I think this is something that we come to time and time again in a place of spirituality, in a space of practice, in a space of understanding self, is that we come at something with such force, such confidence, such eagerness, and perhaps a lot of ego, perhaps a lot of fear, perhaps a lot of undercurrents of trying to get ahead over others. And then we have to let all of that go and completely soften into oneself. And then beneath all of that is the true you. So this is an ego death that is happening, that will continue to happen for the collective. And I think we're at a threshold right now. We're at a threshold of stepping into the utmost amount of unknown that we've ever experienced in this incarnation, everyone. And I think some of you are teetering on the edge of whether to jump in or not. And I think this is a reading of encouragement to where you might find yourself right now in your journey, and to say that it's okay. It's okay, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing. It's your space, and honor and cherish where you are in your journey, no matter what that looks like right now. Wow, Desert and Thirst, card number 10, and that's so interesting to me. I'm going to pull another card. And we've got Air with a card number 1. So we've got 10 to 1, which I'm hearing at the bookies, at the betting arena. I don't know what they call it in other places of the world, but I'm in the UK. 10 to 1. Some of you really need to bet on yourselves at this time. It's like, if you don't trust in anything, trust that you know how to get something done. I wanted to say pile 1. So maybe you are someone that picks pile 1 often, and this message is really resonating for you, that you have to start betting on yourself and knowing that you came here to win, but you can't just win for self. You have to win with others in mind also. And this idea of the collective being a community, being a family, like not being at odds with one another, I think is something that we're really having to understand and appreciate at a cellular level at this point. I think we've gone beyond the point of being able to understand it where we find ourselves, because the world is telling us to compete, the world is telling us to tear each other down, and we don't want to do that anymore. So I think at a cellular level we understand this, and that's how we're trying to communicate. We're not communicating with words anymore. We're communicating through our energy, through our understandings, and through sharing our knowledge with each other. And I think some of you are being encouraged to share more of what you know, to not hold back, and to share everything in your spaces. I feel like there is I don't know, and I'm merely a novice at this point, or in some spaces anyway, but I feel like there is a collective of spiritual understanding that only share what they feel they deem to be acceptable, and leaving out a lot of shadow, leaving out a lot of the rawest aspects of what happens on a spiritual path, and actually what they're experiencing in their own personal journey. I think a lot of people keep that behind closed doors. Granted, some people resonate with it as being so sacred to them. I understand that, but also I think there's a lot of fear connected to that too, which is why people don't bring a lot of information forward. And I think it's time to not fear our own path, because if we're fearing our own path, then how can we possibly tell others to step forward in light too with us, is what I want to share. 36 and middle world. It's like some are living, it's like you're pretending you're living a mediocre life when actually you're experiencing so much of the spiritual. This is a calling out message from Spirit to some. And it's time to share everything, because through you sharing, you allow others to step forward too. The heart of the sky. It's like, some of you are celestial beings and you know it, and you're not sharing your gifts with the world when you should be, and you need to be, because the time is now. The time is now. Wow, the child, number 7. It's through inner child wounding that some aren't sharing all of their gifts at this time. And teams of light are saying that look at your inner child, and are they happy with where you find yourselves right now in your life? Is your inner child truly happy, or are they gasping for air? Are they gasping for more? Are they gasping to express more, be silly, have more fun, be more playful? Are they wanting to experience something so out of the realms of what you are used to, yet it feels like home? If your inner child is happy with something, then it is safe for you to explore it, is what I want to share, everyone. And this is something that I will do in spaces where I have some question marks around. I will ask my inner child how they feel about that person, how they feel about this situation. And, if they say yes, then I'm saying yes. Because they feel safe, that means that I truly feel safe somewhere too. And that's important, everyone. Looking at what your inner child deems to be safe is truly, truly, truly going to help you on this path. I'm going to bring some tarot into the mix as well. Spirit teams, guides, and guardians, what is it you wish to share today? It feels very ominous, and yeah, it's like, I feel like it's encouragement with a slice of sass. Yeah, some of you are incredibly afraid of conflict, which is why you haven't stepped forward with your truth, or you've decided to take the easier path, I'm hearing. You thought that was going to be easier, there was going to be less conflict, and I think you've been met with even more conflict. And, that's the way of spirit, that's the way of life. We all meet challenges, and trying to, step away from conflict is right somewhere, but sometimes we have to face everything in order to move forward, without fear, without... I'm hearing without expectation too. There is a conflict that is happening within these realms that it's stifling. Yeah, it's stifling to the heart, and it's stifling to Mother Nature too. In not speaking your truth, you are stopping the world from turning, I'm hearing. And some of you have started to feel this. It's almost like you felt a disconnect from nature that you haven't experienced before. And it's because you've been guided in spaces to share your truth, and you just haven't been. Seven of Pentacles. Some of you are asking for things to grow when you're not putting in the full work to nurture something. Yeah, it's like, what aren't you giving energy to? And some of you perhaps have been asking for, you've been asking for just spaces to grow, and everyone's going to come with their own understanding at that, but you've been asking for spaces to grow, but you haven't been watering the parts that truly need nurturing. With the Empress here, it's like, what is it that needs nurturing, potentially within you as well, for another space to grow, is what I'm hearing. And I'm being brought back to the inner child. Yeah, inner peace is everything. Inner peace is absolutely everything right now. Where can you find peace? Where can you find solitude? Where can you find this understanding that you can do it? It's like doing it alone. Some of you fear doing something alone, or stepping forward in your own vibration, or stepping forward in your own truth. Yeah, Hermit. It might take some time to be able to step forward in this Empress energy, some of you. You can't rush the process. Yeah, you're still growing. You're still going through deaths and rebirths daily, I'm hearing some of you. And that's gone over the number 7. And that's important. The number 7 is really important to some of you. But everything is in fine balance, I'm hearing. For some of you, you just have to walk away from the past once and for all. Whatever brings you confusion, whatever brings you negativity, you just have to keep walking away. there is something that gives you life. There is something that makes you feel abundant. There is something that's giving you reciprocity right now. Nurture that space. Yeah, some of you have been asking for a happy family. Asking for a happy family. Where's that space? Go and explore. It might not be where you are right now, is what I'm hearing. And yeah, there's a massive layer of fear that I think is wanting to be brought to the forefront of the collective's mind right now. But it's time to start thinking outside of the box. Who can help you? This is this collective energy. Who can help you get to where you want to go? How can we lean on each other more as a collective? How can we spark more inspiration in others? How can we shine a light for others to step into? And, you know, sometimes we put out information that isn't necessarily for us. And, you know, this is something that I've kind of had to come to terms with in my journey, is that sometimes the things that I have to bring forward as information, I don't necessarily want to bring forward, but I'm not doing it just for me, you know. And granted, there is a lot of my growth within my work, but sometimes I'm bringing forward information that is purely for other people, and, you know, I'm not reaping from my own messages, if that makes sense. And I had to be okay with that quite early on, because a lot of my path was just shrouded in mystery, was just shrouded in questions, yet I was answering so many questions for so many others, and I had to just, you know, surrender to that is the path of, you know, someone that is awake at this precise moment. We can't know everything, but if I can help others, I'm okay with that. And, you know, I'm having fun along the way, is what I want to share. Ace of Pentacles, and maybe that's what it is. Some of you haven't been taking yourself out of your work, but if you do, that's truly going to help you. Yeah, bottom of the deck energy, we've got the Six of Pentacles and this idea of reciprocity. Some of you have to start thinking for others and not just for yourself. And in the flip side of that, some of you have to create for you and not for other people. And coming out of a space of, I'm creating this because this is what someone that does this does, if this makes sense. This idea of, I am going to read in this way because I've only seen other tarot readers read in this way. I'm going to, you know, express myself through this form of dance because I've only ever seen this form of dance before. Or I'm going to, you know, dress a certain way because that's how all my other friends dress. If that makes sense. The energy isn't quite as black and white as that's coming forward, but that's the only way I can kind of bring it into this infrastructure. And that's a message in itself, because we are moving away from duality. So we're moving away from black and white, and we're going into this gray unknown area, and it's going to feel uncomfortable. The amount of uncomfortability, you know, one has to sit in right now to be awake is beyond imaginable. And we have to start being okay with not being okay, for one, but also not fearing the unknown. And yeah, take some time with this, everyone. Take some time to ponder what the unknown means to you. Get out a journal, write this down. What does the unknown mean to me? And how can I help myself feel more at ease in that space? Because that's what's going to help you prosper. Yeah, the 21 in the world coming out with that. If you can start to come into a space of the unknown and being okay with the unknown, that's when everything is going to change for you. And we've got the moon here, and number 18, and the cycles of the moon is really, really, really going to help some of you understand yourself. So start to follow the cycles of the moon. Start to look at when the moon is waxing, waning, what that means for you, what star sign it's moving through, what planetary placements it's moving through, because some of you are so intrinsically woven into the astrologies of this realm, it's not even funny. And, you know, at this point, I feel like everyone is, but also there are some souls that are like blueprint for blueprint by their birth chart, and there's a reason for that. It's like you are stepping in such an intrinsic path that has been placed before you incarnated, so that you could help so many. And in getting yourself in line, you're going to help so many others get in line too. And, you know, I'm seeing this as like army of light rather than, you know, army of segregation and war of this world. It's like army of light. We stand together, we fight together, we move together, you know, as a collective team. We are individuals forming our own understandings, but at a collective heart, soul, space level, we are all fighting for the light of this world, whether we realize it or not. No matter where you are in your journey, you are fighting for your life in the light. And that's just a fact, everyone. Yeah. I think I'm going to close up with some Dragon Oracle. I've been given the understanding that dragons are going to be really important 2024 moving forward. So I'm really excited for that. I've been in the realms of the dragons for some time, but they haven't made themselves fully in my existence, and I was wondering why that was. And I think it's because I've been waiting for the collective to be ready so that I can bring more information forward about the dragons, about some dragons that I know specifically in the realms that I work in, and what this means for us moving forward, which I'm incredibly excited about. So I'm going to close with some Dragon Oracle just as a... Yeah, they're such comforting beings. I know they might look pretty terrifying, but their love is beyond anything. It's palpable. 16 and destruction, releasing your anger. Yeah, a dragon energy. So I look at dragon energy as being the dragon within self, or dragons outside of self in terms of like guides and guardians. So that inner fire, that inner dragon that you can bring forward as, you know, a totem to yourself, and releasing all of that anger is really going to help so many of you prosper. And sometimes this is just the anger of, you know, the constraints of this life and this world. And I realized a lot of my anger was very misplaced, because at a soul's level I knew that I was trapped here on planet Earth, you know, fighting so many dark essences that I just wasn't allowed to know was the truth, and somewhere I was placing that in my own physical plane of existence when I shouldn't have been. So that might help some of you understand your own energy and anger at this time. 15 and tranquility, harmonious inaction. Yeah, some of you really need to get still, and that's by the Queen of Swords here. You really need to be still to understand where you are right now, and to help you soften to the energies that are around you. I'm hearing you're ready to soften, you're ready to say yes to more, and the more that you can soften, the more you're going to be able to handle. It's like some of you are fearing, you know, having a full schedule or taking more on your plate, but the more you can find places of stillness for self, the more that you're going to be able to feel like you can cope with more. And that's counterproductive to what we are taught, you know. The more that you are frantically getting so much done in a day, that's the best way to succeed, you know. That's just not the case. And the more that you can be still, the more that you can move slower, the easier everything is going to get. And I think this is going to annoy so many to hear that watch this. And, you know, it's taken me some time, and still I slip back into old ways when things get, you know, my plate feels pretty full. I just want to steamroll ahead, and you can't in the realms of spirit, you can't in the realms of light. Everything has to move in its own divine timing. And the final card that I've got for you is Enlightenment. Moving forward. Yeah, moving forward is moving forward with grace and ease and slowly. And moving with the energies of 10, transcendence, achieving success. It's like keep the fire in the belly, but move slowly. And, you know, I'm seeing like a snake, and think of all the power a snake wields, yet it slithers through, you know, the grass, through life. You know, slippery as a snake, some people say. And it's almost like you're going to have to be cunning in your movements, and not cunning towards anyone else, but it's almost like you have to be, it's like imagine you're in a chess match with yourself right now, collective. Imagine you're playing chess against self. How would you want to beat yourself? What would you do to beat yourself at your own life right now? Start being in competition with yourself rather than other people, and see how quickly you prosper. And I feel like that was a drop the mic moment, so I'm going to leave it there, everyone. But thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing space with me. And yeah, I feel like these are going to be spaces where I get to share a little bit more about my path, my journey, and, you know, the things that I've experienced at a personal level that might help you as well within your path. So I'm going to call these, I'm not sure yet, but it will come to me. And this is the first, I guess, sharing space of this kind. And yeah, I look forward to sitting in your energies with mine and our teams of light, and yeah, the water energies and that of the dragons much more, everyone. But take care. That's all for now.